Shalom Yashrala, this is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yahweh and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and endured afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick, which was inspired by, watching the video, but going into in the video is going into this new situation they have going on, which we've known that this was going to happen, according to prophecy anyway. All right, they've had the predecessor groups before this, the King Alfred Plan, Project Megiddo, and so on and so forth. All right, and and reading into some of this here documentation and everything, it's funny how they can write all these things down and come to these conclusions, but hey, it's all just being played out. It's all going towards prophecy. All right, if you had somebody with an unbiased mindset to read these things, it would just fall into the same category. All right, and even in labeling us as extremist groups, they always say that the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites and things like that, always putting those things into there. But they would even tell you in there, they're like, oh well, we believe that we're descendants of the children of Israel according to the scriptures. All right, and then about Esau, who his descendants are. Like, all right, and it's according to the Bible. All right, not according to some type of race hate type thing or anything else like this. All right, now, and reverse of these things, when you go into your mainstream media churches and everything else like that, they believe the exact same thing. It's just the opposite. They believe that they're the children of God. They just don't use who is who and who is who, but they use the titles. All right, they believe that they're the children of God. All right, so but nevertheless, going into these things, and even in the documents, they tell you that we're mostly not violent and things like that. They do have little certain things they try to pin on us, but it's like, hey man, the core of what we do is we go out to the highways and the byways and we just preach and we teach our people these things, man. All right, but because like the scriptures say, the son of perdition being revealed. All right, roughly paraphrase. Let's just go ahead and grab that real quick. Second Thessalonians. I think it's chat. Let me see. But let me start at verse 3. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that falling away is going into us falling away from who we were. All right, when you understand biblical prophecy, all right, this is one of the things that they don't take into account, man. All right, there would be a prophecy that would take place, that and we go and we fit through these descriptions. All right, that they also says this in the document, the documents. All right, now you have to ask yourself, going back into history, all right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let's just talk about the so-called Negroes for a time being, because they like to use the term Black Hebrew Israelites. All right, now, were we calling ourselves Negroes before we got over here, coloreds before we got over here, and everything else like that? No, we had a different name that was upon us, man. All right, so what's so far-fetched for you to understand that maybe we found out who our true identity was before we was brought over here in cargo slave ships? All right, they don't want to touch on to these things, but you know what? Yeah, we did take you guys into captivity. All right, and you did have a different name before that, man. All right, you had your own respective tribe. You don't want to use the so-called. And these people smart, man. All right, they not like how Jake be on that dumb level. They think of Africa as a country instead of a continent. Like, well, Africa got multiple countries in it. But they'll say, oh, well, you guys are Africans. Well, where were we from Africa? You know what I'm saying? But going further into these things, we would have an identity before that. All right. So what happens, like, again, going into the scriptures and the prophecy, but beyond that for the second. All right. If we just came over here on cargo slave ships as slaves, wouldn't we have an identity before we came over here and we took on the identity that you gave us? All right, look at the Native Americans. They know about the boarding schools. They didn't call themselves Indians. They knew who they were before that. They had an identity, a heritage, and everything else before that. Even in, like I said, these people are smart. Even in their history and things like that, they found the oldest Ten Commandments over here. They found all kind of old Hebrew writing over here. So if they found all this here stuff that was from, predates, the Europeans coming over here, and the people that they found over here was the Native Americans. All right, and the same with the so-called Negroes. Have pretty much the same thing, and they had an identity before these things. Like, what's so hard to put two and two together that maybe and then when you read it in the scriptures, all right, about the lost sheep, all right, about them being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth and the slavery and things like this. All right, so they can, play these mind games when it's talking about those small hatters. They're like, oh, they was spread out into the whole earth and everything. But we have like history that they still teach into this school about, you know, the transatlantic slave trade, about how the Negroes was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So we actually fit these descriptions. All right. So it's like, for one, you could say, okay, it's a belief that we have. But like I said, these people are smart, just like these damn scientists and everything else like that. And these people that's like, you know, I always say this, the higher levels of education that you have, the more you understand and you really believe basically like what we believe. I was watching something on the moon the other day, and they were saying, you know, with these so-called smart people, they was like, well, you know, it's a coincidence. Like, this wasn't just a coincidence that all this happened. It's like the moon is at, you know, the relatively right space or distance from the earth and the sun for, you know, us to be able to have eclipses. All right, the way that it rotates and everything else like that, the size that it is and everything else like that, all these different things, is like there's too many coincidences for these things to just randomly have happened like that. Like, there's no reason why the sun and the moon and the earth could be able to line up in an eclipse. There's no real, you know, so-called benefits for these things unless there was a creator who created these things and gave it to us for signs, in which we can see these in the scriptures. So like I said, the higher education that you have, all right, the more that you understand that, you know, what's written in the scriptures is true. But nevertheless, let's just take the carnal route again. We was brought over here in cargo slave ships and things like that. Wouldn't we have an identity before we called ourselves so-called black people and everything else like that? But, you know, again, you know, the scriptures say, let me grab that real quick. We'll come back to that. Revelation 11:11. Not sure. Well, I know why the internet's going slow, but Revelation 11:11 says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And this is that great fear, because look, let's go back to the Second Thessalonians, all right? Second Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day should not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right, jumping down to verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. All right, this is the point in time where that wicked is being revealed. All right, this is the point in time where, you know, we're starting to stand upon our feet. That spirit of life is coming into us, and this is why that great fear is falling upon them, because they are being revealed of who they are. This is why they have to go through and try to make laws against what we're doing, try to paint us out to be the villain. Like, we didn't take y'all on the cargo slave ships and put y'all in captivity over here and change your identity. You did that unto us. How is it wrong that we woke up to who we were? All right. And how is it wrong that we're out on the highways and the byways reading the Bible? Now, the funny part about all these things is, you know, they go into calling us violent extremists and things like that. Is I seen this video pop up on my YouTube the other day, and I kept seeing it over and over and over again, and just clicked on it. And I don't know if they was both rappers or not, but you had these two little young boys who got into it, right? And I guess one shot the other boy, but they wound up both killing each other or something like that happened. But apparently one of the boys stood over top of the other boy with his pistol and just unloaded on the boy's face and everything else like that, man. All right, and then you got videos of this all over the internet and all over the YouTube, and then you got more and more videos of them on their little live streams talking about they gonna be, you know, doing whatever they're gonna do to each other, all kind of guns in the video, rap songs, like, so, like, you know, you can say, oh, some of this is because they want to say that with this Young Thug guy, that, oh, his rap lyrics shouldn't be brought into court because of it's just music and everything. But then when you really see what some of these kids is doing on the internet, all right, always talking about that they smoking their ops and running around with the guns. Now, these videos stay up day in and day out, and actual people are dying after these videos, man. So, like, in a sense, they preaching what they gonna do, they prophesying on what they gonna do, and they actually out there doing it. They out there with the guns in the videos and everything else like that. All right, you got these young women out there twerking and just being harlots all over the damn internet and showing all kind of, you know, obscene video scenes and everything else like that, man. All right, now let's switch it around, you know, and this goes to show you who the real extremist is and the war that is being waged against us. We telling our people to stop the violence. We telling our people to stop doing drugs. We telling our women to stop being harlots. Now, if it was a problem with us saying what we're saying against these to our women, right? Now let's just switch it up and let's take it away from us so-called, I'm gonna use their terms, being black, right? Now, if the so-called white man's daughter was on the music video shaking her ass cheeks, twerking, talking about some wop, 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 if this was like, you know, Joe Biden's daughter or something like that, now you think that he would be proud of that? You think that he would allow those videos to go out? Now, you see they trying to stop his son's videos from going out, Now imagine his daughter's videos doing all those things, being just naked and twerking around. I don't know if he has daughters or not, but just using it as an example. Do you think that they would be proud about that? Do you think that they would let those videos stay up, or would they be taking those videos down with the quickness? All right, those videos would be taken down. But when it's your daughters that's up there just twerking and showing all kind of explicit, you know, dances and everything else like that, they don't mind those things, man. All right, they have the videos of Jacob on the internet, with their guns and smoking their ops and airing out the block and doing all these things, walking down the block, smoking and drinking and doing all kind of drugs. They leave those things up because why? It fuels more Jakes to go and do those things. So if anything, who's actually indoctrinating more so-called young black men and black women to become extremists and violent and everything else like that, man? Who's actually paying and promoting these guys, man? You got these rappers that's over here talking about killing all folk. They got this other guy, NBA YoungBoy, and Quando Rondo. They keep pushing out on the narrative about how they going to Chicago. They going to Chicago. They going to Chicago. I'm like, what the hell does this mean? Why they keep pushing and promoting the tour starting there? Oh, because they wound up, one of them killed this other rapper that's from Chicago, and they want some violent stuff to happen to them. So it's like, yo, they pushing, they're promoting and making money off of these things, man. All right, and they're pushing and promoting that these young boys be doing these types of things. Now we're telling our people to do the complete opposite of that, but we're the extremists. Now, again, looking into that video, the one boy who killed the other boy the other day, they were saying, at the end of the day, it's another young black man taking another young black man's life and everything. But I'm like, but look, they're pushing and promoting these things to our people. They're not stopping and banning these videos and everything else like that, man. And this is not like, oh, they just decided to videotape themselves doing this for one time or one day or whatever, man. I guarantee if you look at their social media pages, they doing this all day, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, man. All right, they don't stop any of these things. But then when we tell you about certain things, certain topics that wake you up. Now, if we was on here being, calling ourselves Israelites and telling you about mermaids and telling you about all kind of just bullshit, they wouldn't come against us. But because we tell you the truth, the scripture have I become thy enemy because I tell you the truth. Because we tell you the truth about these things, because we reveal these things unto you, all right, certain things, all right, then all of a sudden it's a problem. All right, now they have to paint us out to be these monsters. Now that great fear is falling upon them, that we will be waking up. That, when we tell our people, stop ejecting our babies, all right, and when we tell our young men to stop killing their brothers and everything else like that, tell these women stop being promiscuous and things like that so they won't pair bond so that our families can be stuck together or being brought back together, then they call us extremists, all right? But then just think about it is, again, think about the, some of you people who are so-called health freaks and things like that. You realize that they push and they promote and they advertise and they discount all the foods that's poisonous unto you, that's bad unto you. But when it's come time to some of this healthy food, oh, it's all extra expensive, out of your reach, and they try to push you away from certain of those things, man. It's like how they say the Dr. Sebi argument. People think that, when most so-called woke Jakes think about that, oh, they offed him because he knew this and he knew that and everything. Well, if y'all can understand that, y'all can understand what the hell going on over here, man. All right, but it says verse 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed. All right, there has to be a revelation of these things, man. We didn't know who we were, and now we didn't know who he was. But now we're telling you the truth of all these things, man. All right, that was that, after 3.5 days, they stood upon their feet. That day is talking about us. We're being back grounded, all right? We're found a foundation. Before we was calling ourselves blacks, Negroes, coloreds, all kind of other things that didn't profit us, man. All right, you talk about some of these things about Jake in the hoods killing each other and everything. We need to band together and everything else like that. And I look at all these different movements. It's like, yo, from, coming into this truth, they don't have a foundation to stick on together, man. All right. You can see how these things work out in small places. You see, you have a bunch of Crips that'll get together. All right. You got a bunch of Bloods that'll get together, but they bend it on gangbanging. But guess what happens with that? All right. For one, you have the Crips and the Bloods or whatever gangs they divided on with one, just because of the different colors and what area they from and everything else like that. But then even amongst those gangs, like let's just say the Crips, there's Crips that don't like other Crips. You see them saying they don't have a sure foundation of things, man. A solid foundation, a true foundation, man. So, but when we come to you with this here truth, all right, that gives you that 360 degrees of knowledge of who you are and everything else, who our enemy is, and how we should be eating and going back to the law, statutes, commandments. All these things is going to build up prosperity in life. All right, that's a problem unto them because it's threatening into their so-called power structure, not because of what we'll do unto them. All right, but because of, think about it this way, in layman's terms, if the saying fishing and hunting. All right, if the fish all got the knowledge that, look, man, these guys out here are fishermen. All right, they're using bait to try to catch us. They're gonna eat us when they catch us, man. Don't be falling for this here bait. How about we just go way out in the middle of the ocean or the water where they ain't out there yet, and then that's where we can eat freely. We don't have to eat this here stuff, man. But as long as we keep coming up to the shore, guess who's gonna be mad about that? The fisherman is gonna be like, oh man, this here fish, he's evil because he's telling all the other fish about us, man. Or hunting in the woods with the deers and stuff. Oh, the one deer told all the other deers, hey man, he's over there in that stand. He's got this fake deer piss on him. Don't go over to that scent because he gonna catch you up over there, man. Of course the hunter would be mad because now he can't hunt the doggone deer no more. That's going into his, his agenda. But is it really wicked that the deers that woke up to the hunter's game? All right, no, man. But this is Esau, man. All right, this is who we talking about, man. A cunning hunter, as the Bible describes him, man. All right, he's just mad because he's being found out, but you can't escape who you are, man. It's in your blood to do these things, man. All right, hey, we were matter of fact, let me just go back over here and read this. Speaking of that cunning hunter, this is Revelation 12:12. All right, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time." Now, are we calling you the devil because we just so-called racists or haters? No, man. Look at how you act, man. You're the deceiver. We trying to tell our people who we really are, but then you say that that's a lie. All right, you're trying, like they say, oh, they claim them to be imposters, but who fits the mold? All right, they said that they're not Esau, but the scripture said that Esau was going to live by the sword. They said that Esau was going to be ruling the earth. They said Esau was going to take peace from the earth. Now, let's just say hypothetically, we lying about this whole situation, and we really the Edomites, and they're really the Israelites. Now, are they in captivity or are we in captivity? Do they rule the earth or do we rule the earth? Did we take over the earth by way of the sword or did they take over the earth by way of the sword? Did we take peace from the earth or did they take peace from the earth? See, they fit these descriptions, and this is the problem why the great fear is falling upon them, because we have woken up to this here knowledge and this here truth. All right, we can go through the scriptures and it's just like it's plain as day. All right, to say that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Who's fighting over the possession of the earth right now? All right, you got NATO and Babylon the Great and NATO, fighting over the dominance over the rest of the world. But who are they basically fighting? Who else is at the other end? You got the U.S. and NATO fighting against Russia. They all Edomites over what? The dominance of the world order and everything else like that. It's not like Jake versus Esau. We trying to dominate the earth for no, man. It's just them versus them at this point, man. All right, so the scriptures point out who they are, but going back into these documentations about the extremists and everything else like that, man. All right, when you look into these things, man, again, they fit the description of who they are. We fit the description of who we are. We also fit the description of waking up, and this is a threat again into their power structure by what? Revealing who they are. So how would they react? All right, coming now with great wrath, changing up all these different laws. All right, let me grab this real quick. There was some other precepts I wanted to grab, but I'll just grab this. Matthew 24 and verse 9. It says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Not for an extremist's sake, not for violence sake and everything else like that. When you talk about these kids that's going to school and all these different things that's going on, it ain't Jake that's going up in the schools doing all these different things. It's their children that's doing all these things, man. All right, when they tell us that we should be afraid of this and afraid of that, but it's really them. All right, we're not making up these things. Oh, we got these violent extremists. Like, when was the last time you seen us go and shoot up anywhere? All right, you got more of a chance of go sending your kid to school and one of their kids doing all these things, man. They was the ones that was gonna live by the sword. They was the one that was taking peace from the earth, man. All right, they're the ones that's embodied into this here thing, and they can't. They can't, like the scripture say, can a leopard change his spots? They can't change who they are. All right, we can't change who we are. All right, but if you understand and just read the Bible for yourself and follow and track, the people in the scriptures and things like that, you will understand that Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, they will be in captivity. All right, at the end all be all. All right, they're not, and the only time they would get out of captivity is when the Lord will put them back into their place, man. And the Lord will be reigning on earth with them. Now they claim that in 1948 the Lord, the prophecies was fulfilled that they was going back to their land and everything. But what about the war? Why is there still war going on the earth? Where's the Lord at? How come everybody's not serving you? And the scriptures say the nation that wouldn't serve you, or the Israelites, would cease from existing. And these nations are still are out there, all right, opposing them. All right, they don't have to change laws and everything else like that to stop all these things going on. The Lord would do these things for them, man. All right, but then in contrary to that, you see what? You see more of the real Israelites waking up to who they are, the lost sheep coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, coming back to their identity and things like that. And they even tell you in their documents that, oh, they're starting to basically grow their beards out, speak the language again, read the Bible and everything else like that, coming together with one another. All right, this is the foundation that's built the bond between these so-called complete strangers, man. Are they coming together based off of what? The Bible. Not because we want to be gangs and we putting on certain colors and we spinning a block on the ops and everything. No, because we want to read the Bible. All right. That's what we come to. But we become extremists because we read in the Bible now. All right. Now there are certain things that they're pushing and promoting in this here society. When it comes to the certain communities and things like that, that the scriptures preach against those things. But when did you see us do anything to these people that's living these ideologies and things like that, man? Now, contrary to popular belief, what are they doing to your children in these schools right about now, man? Because they want your kids to go after those beliefs. So who's actually the extremist nowadays? Who's the one having these people indoctrinating your kids? Now, you don't have these Hebrew Israelites. Now, you do have Hebrew Israelites teaching your kids in school and everything else like that. But are they pushing their ideology on your kids? They don't even know about these things. Like, because we are in your everyday lives from school, work, and everything else like that. But, hey, we already know from, preaching this here word that not everybody's going to cleave to this. There's a time and a place for this, man. All right, so we're not at school over here trying to slip our ideology on your kids and things like that, man. We're not up in your schools wearing fringes, all right, and teaching your kids about this and that and everything else. But you got this purple hair Oompa Loompa in there talking about that they identify as a goddamn seagull and everything else like that with blue eyes and all kind of stuff, talking about what are your pronouns? How do you feel like you want to identify? So your kid's coming back more corrupt. Is your kid coming back more corrupt talking about they're Hebrew Israelite, or your kid coming home from school talking about that they identify as some bullshit? You see what I'm saying? So who's really a threat to what out here, man? And now if these people are telling you that we're such a threat unto you, why would they be saying these things? And who do you think is this really just talking to you? Now they say that, oh, we called them devils and things, but look at the actions. Again, we read in the Bible telling you these things, man. Now, granted, you have some of them that read the Bible in church and everything else like that, but look they're over here taking money from you in these churches. We ain't asking you for no damn money or nothing like that, man. All right, we're not over here just telling you smooth things, prosperity doctrine and things like that. We just telling you the truth of the scriptures and breaking down prophecy at a time like now that we're living in. How important is it for you to understand prophecy in these times, man? You have people going to church. What's going on outside? What does this mean? What does that mean? And so on and so forth. They don't want to hear about no prosperity doctrine and singing and joy. They want answers nowadays. So who's giving them the answers, man? So when you have to have this here understanding, you would understand that, hey, man, maybe that what we're doing is actually again, you'd have to read the scriptures and have that understanding. That great wrath coming down upon them because while we standing upon our feet, what would that do unto them if we was to stand upon our feet and this wisdom and knowledge got back into our mindsets and we started preaching to one another, and that there was a exceedingly great army that was raised up of those Israelites calling upon the names of Yahweh and Yahweh, man? What threat would that be unto your power structure, man? All right, now we're calling on our Lord, and our Lord is gonna deliver us from you, man. All right. It's our Lord that's doing these things, that's causing all these things to happen, man. All right, so hey, we don't have to do all these things. The scriptures say in Proverbs 21:1 that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth whithersoever he will. It's us calling on the name of the Lord have the Lord that's moving in the way that he's moving, that's directing the minds of these kings to do certain things, i.e. look at the war in Ukraine and Russia. We ain't got shit to do with that as far as like we didn't stage no coup in no country or nothing like that, overthrew a government and did all these things. No, man, just calling upon the name of the Lord, and the Lord is working on their minds and causing them to do all these different things, which is bringing the into your economies and things like that, man. So, all this is basically how do I say, them just walking into that mode of who they are. All right, it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right, not for the not for violence sake, but let me read that in NLT. It says, then will you be arrested. See, they have these orders now calling us extremists and things like that. Arrested, persecuted, and killed. All right, and so hey, they got their little marching orders. They're gonna be like, well, you're violent extremists. You're like terrorists now. So hey, we got the green light on y'all because it's in our law. It's already written in law. Well, it's legal for us to do these things because they said that this is so on and so forth, right? It says you will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. All right, because you are my followers, not because of what you've been doing, your actions and things like that, as far as you going in here and doing such and such into these schools and everything. No, not because of any of these things, but because you're my followers, right? It says Verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall be betrayed and betray one another and shall hate one another. All right. And again, you have a time like that that's going on right now as well, too, man. All right. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. All right. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You know, all these different things. We're living in all these different times. Like I said, man, you got more and more killings of Jake going around spinning a block on one another. All right. More and more of these school situations popping off and everything else like that. But none of these situations have the Israelites involved in them. But for us to be such extremists, how come you're not claiming, well, these other guys basically as extremists, the ones that whose kids keep going to school and putting your kids in danger? How come they ain't been, every time they say any of these things, how come none of them is ever labeled as terrorists, domestic terrorists? But they calling us domestic terrorists for going out on the highways and the byways reading the Bible, all right? Or Jake that's on the internet waving AK-47s and Dracos in the music video talking about they about to slide on their ops. How come these little street gangs ain't classified as gangs, or it's not classified as terrorist groups and everything else like that? A bunch of guys in the corner that's no longer selling drugs, no longer doing drugs, it's no longer committing crimes and breaking into nobody's houses. Those are the extremists. Whereas you have these guys that's out here rapping, selling dope, drinking lean, you know what I'm saying, and waving the Draco in the air and airing out the block. They not extremists. But hey, again, obviously we call you the devil for a reason, man. Out here deceiving the people, man. Calling good evil and evil good. All right, but hey, this is not nothing new. I'm gonna go ahead and close out with this right here. This is not nothing new. We knew that these things would happen. All right, because why? It was prophesied, man. And this is what we look into. All right, it's a lot. Revelation 2:10 says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil. All right, there's a reason why we call you the devil. All right, again, oh yeah, they're racist, they're hateful. Well, what kind of person would try to come after somebody, call them an extremist, or throw them in jail for going on the highways and the byways reading the Bible, versus those that's against those that's out there on spinning the block on the ops with the Draco? All right, against we telling our women to put on some clothes and stop twerking all over the place, versus pushing out these women should be able to sleep with whoever they want and all these different things like that. Now they can say, well, women should be able to do. Would you want your daughter to be out there? Would you give your daughter that advice? Go out there and just sleep with whoever you want. Go twerk it and bust it over on whoever you want. You ain't got to answer to no man. Would you tell your daughter those things, or would you tell your daughter those things we tell her? Hey, put some clothes on, have some respect for yourself. Would you tell your son, hey, go out there, spin the block on them niggas and air them niggas out with the Draco, and keep pumping drugs into your neighborhoods? Or would you tell them what we would tell them? Hey, man, put the guns down. All right, you shouldn't be hating your brother, man. Not you shouldn't be selling drugs into your brothers and destroying your own communities and things like that, man. All right, y'all need to stop killing each other, man. All right, which advice would you want your kids to be hearing and things like that, man? And again, look at what's going on in the schools, man. All right, they're telling your kids to name after all these different pronouns and things like that, but we're the extremists. All right, you got some purple hair, blue eyes, old beast individual. We don't know what the hell did they identify as, telling your kids they can identify as anything: a cat, a dog, a seagull, you know what I'm saying? A he, she, they, whatever. But yet and still, we can't identify as what the Israelites. It's a problem when we call ourselves Israelites. In the time, again, these are the damn devils, man. All right, in a time where you can identify yourself as any and everything that you want, even if it don't make sense. You can identify as a goddamn turtle. All right, you can identify as a seagull, but we can't identify ourselves as the children of Israel, the people of God, the people in the Bible. We can't. You see what I'm saying? But let's just finish this out. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so, hey, man, all we got to do is be faithful unto death, man. All right, have faith in the Lord. The Lord is going to correct all these things for us, man. Scripture also say, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. So, hey, man, that's what we're looking for, man. We're looking for salvation, man. That's our way out, man. There is no physical uprising that we got planned or anything. Our uprising has already happened in front of you in your eyes, man. We're waking up to who we are, man. And we've been reading the Bibles. That's all we're doing. And we're waiting patiently on our Lord to come and deliver us, man. That's our game plan. There's no secret in none of these things, man. You had thermonuclear warfare coming. What y'all gonna do? We gonna wait for the Lord to come get us, man. Oh, they finna come roll on y'all and such and so forth. What y'all gonna do? We gonna wait for the Lord to come get us, man. Oh, they finna come and kill y'all and everything. What y'all gonna do? We gonna wait for the Lord to come and get us, man. That's what our game plan is. It's not no secret. Ain't none of this bullshit, man. All right, we just having faith in the Lord. The Lord gonna deliver us, man. All right, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson, because that's all it's for, man. All right, if you don't get from what it's been said plain and clear, and that's why we say, hey, this is only for the elect, man. All right, if you don't get it from there, it's not for you, man. All right, and of course you're not gonna be able to get it, but hey. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, and taught us his truth and ever will. And citation, much love for you, Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong, shalom.